In today's video, I'm going to give you a quick tour of my Dawless setup for 2021. As you can notice, all of the screens that I used to have in this area are now gone. But they're really just right here next to it. But now there's a very clear separation between, hey, this is my creative area and this is my working area, my computer area. One thing I've been keeping the lid on in my new setup is the Nord Drum 3P. This is something I picked up last year. I used it on the Fall Song Challenge song, and I'm going to make a separate series of videos probably on this machine and why I decided to get it. So up top, in place of the monitor, is now the Tascam 424 Mark III. It seems like a fitting place since this is what I've built my channel on so far. So I'm sort of using the 424 as a sub-mixer for the Model 12. I also want to be able to run all of my drums through it. So I got the Digitakt hookup, I have the Nord 3P hooked up, and I also have the Minotaur hooked up, which is a bass synthesizer. So my idea is to have my drums and bass mixed through the Tascam so that I can have a couple options. I can either just take the stereo mix from the Tascam and pump it into the Model 12, and then I can continue recording from there, or I can just record my drums and bass onto cassette and similarly bounce down the cassette mix to the Model 12. So it's essentially a submixer, but I also have the option to record my drums and bass to cassette. So these two are going to be pretty much the heart of my Dawless setup. To the right, I have my Behringer Headphone Amp, and I did a whole video on why I've opted to use the sub output on the Model 12 for monitoring headphones, if that's something you want to check out. Below that, I've got the R-Tube MP, another staple in my home recording bedroom setup. Been using that for years, one of my favorite pieces of gear, and I'm just using it to bump up the dynamic mics that I plug into the Model 12. To the right, I've got the Moog Minotaur, which is going to be my main bass synth. This is really cool if you want to learn about synthesis and keep it simple. And of course, that integrates extremely well with the Digitakt. For some electronic stuff I've been doing, I have the MIDI out going to the Minotaur and it triggers the Minotaur. And I don't know, I just really like the combination of these two. Up top, I also forgot to mention the OP1 that Jody sent. That's going to be busted out this year. I'm going to be working on my keyboard skills. That's a reason I haven't done too much with that so far. I've had this Yamaha DBR12 for years. It's been in my closet. So I used it for mixing my own vocals live, running my guitar through it, and I also used to run Drum Machine through it. I also have my pedal board down here, so if I want to plug in some guitar or some bass, I still need to route some of the wiring, but I think I'm about 80% of the way there. With the PA speaker, I took some measurements and figured out that this rack that I've been using, it seemed like with the tape measure, it would just fit. And you can see that this thing just fits under here. And so on here, I just have the Furman, which is a glorified power strip. It's got some lights on it, surge protector kind of unit. And then below that, I've got the Yamaha SPX 92. That's what I use for Bumbler. And then below that, I have another SansAmp RBI. This is an amazing unit for recording direct bass, but I remember Jay was using it for all sorts of different signals. And that's something I've used the SansAmp for in the past too, is just kind of coloring things. And that's a trick I picked up from Chad Blake. But the SansAmp stuff's sick. I can't wait to use this more. I might just plug the bass direct into there, maybe the guitar direct into there. We'll see what happens. And below that, I got the Nakamichi CR1A matte scent. I'm planning to use this mostly for coloring sounds or playing back tapes or even bouncing the mix out to it if I'm using the 424 or the Model 12, or even just bouncing out the final mix to it. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of possibilities. If you're going to be picking up any gear this year and want to help out the channel, I got some affiliate links below and on my website, 424recording.com. Helps out a lot. No cost to you, but as always, thanks just for watching. I appreciate it. So that's going to be my Dawless setup for 2021. I'm excited to start playing through it, start using my creative area for my creative activities. And I want to give a special shout out and thanks to Steve, Jody, Andrew, Patty, Matt, Devin, Tebow, Cody, Jamie, and all my patrons at patreon.com/424recording who help support the work I do here at 424 Recording. Godspeed all my friends out there, and as always, make sure you do something you want to do today.